Good afternoon, lovely ladies and gentlemen. My name is Twisha Talking, and today I am going to demonstrate some magic over here. I'm going to teach you some magic over here, and you'll be surprised to know that you all already have that magic. So let me show you. Words, and here I agree with Dumbledore. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, a most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of both inflicting injury and remedying it. How lightly we take these things that we utter regularly. Words. So simple, right? Everybody of us has it. What you have to do is to tap into that potential. Let me start with a story of why words are important. Now, I'm sure everybody is familiar with the idea of Buddhism. So, one day, an old Buddhist master was teaching his disciples that power of words is immense. In the eightfold path of Buddhism, samvacha, that is the act of skillful speech, is one that has to be practiced with rigorous meditation and everyday practice. So he went on and on about how words are important, how words spoken in the right way, kind way, and more importantly, at the right time are so important. Interrupting his speech, a disciple suddenly stood up. He said, "I don't agree with you. How can words be so powerful? Stones can hurt, theft can deprive, but how can words even hurt somebody or heal somebody? They are just words, they are just sounds." So the master said, "You are an idiot. Just sit down and listen to what I say. You are a student, not a teacher. Just shut up and sit down." So the student was shocked, obviously, but then he sat. After 10 minutes, he again sat up. He had his fist clenched, his face was red, and he was flustered. "How can you insult me like this in front of the class? You have no right. You are no great teacher that everybody says you are. You are a fraud." And the master calmly replied, "Oh, did I hurt you? Did I have an impact on your peace? What did I do?" And the student was stunned. The master brought his point home. He could only hurt him just with the use of his words. That's how powerful words are. Words can heal and words can hurt. It's completely in your power. Let me tell you how words have influenced me. I believe that I am a very secure and confident person. Now, major contribution and the credit goes to my parents. I'll tell you a story. So my school had a beautiful compound, huge compound, and before exams we were not allowed to enter the school 10 minutes before the exam. So when I used to reach school, everybody was in the compound, everybody was in the textbook. Oh my god, oh, is that an important question? Oh, did teacher tell you it is important? I didn't know. Everybody was so stressed. And I would hop in with my bag and I would have no book in my hand. I didn't used to take any book to my exam. And everybody was like, "Aren't you stressed?" I said, "No, I'm not." And they would say, "Why?" And I'd say, before every exam, my father tells me, "Twisha, even if you get 0 marks in every exam, I don't care. The purpose of school is for you to learn, not to get marks." And it's not that I was a bad student, I was always in top 10. But because of his words, I was always stress-free. And I think in a way it contributed a lot in getting those good marks. Because I was never worried, I was never in tension that, have I missed an important question? Did I not ask enough questions to my professor? I was always carefree. And that has also led to my positive attitude in life. I have been fortunate enough to meet always good people, to meet people who have always given me reviews in a way that it is a constructive criticism. Let's take my project lead who was in my last company. His name was Bharat, and I used to obsess over I'm a programmer. I used to obsess over simple code, and I used to just get on it for hours and hours. 8 hours a day was my job routine. So every year we had a compensation review in which our leaders would give us advice, what was good, what was bad. So he called me and told me, "Twisha, I admire your dedication. I admire that you want to solve every problem, but you are focusing too much time on a single problem. Instead of diversifying it, prioritizing your tasks, you are always just on at a single task, and unless you are done with it, you don't move on to the next task. Just prioritize and ask for help." The same review he could have told me, "Twisha, you waste a lot of time. You just don't do work in the correct way." But no, the way he said it, what he said it, made an impact. I understood his criticism and it didn't let my morale down. That is the power of his words. tell your story. How words can help someone and not just yourself. So there's a vocal coach. Her name is Audrey Hunter. And in 1970s, she was a musical teacher. She had a student called Edward, who had a 6-foot long frame, green, sad eyes, and every day he used to come at least 10 minutes late. He used to slump his shoulders, go to his last bench, put his head in his hands and sit like that. In every class, every single class. The teacher was concerned, Audrey was concerned. What is wrong with this guy? Why is he so sad? So she started building a positive rapport with him. Every time she used to see him sitting in the garden eating his lunch alone, she would go and join him. She would try to talk to him. What is wrong with you? Can I help you in any way? But he always used to stay away from her. Anyway, still she realized that as time went by, as the semester went by, there was an improvement in his grades. Not much, but a little. So she was happy that a positive rapport and support is helping him. Finally, the final exams came and went. And as she was a musical teacher, she had to give the final grade, calling each student in her class and giving them a feedback and then giving them the grade. So along this time, Audrey had gotten quite worried about Edward, and there was something about him that made her sad, and she really wanted to help. So on the day of grading, she was desperately looking for Edward. After each student went, she used to peek in the queue. Can I see Edward? Can I see Edward? But she couldn't. Even after the last student went, there was no sign of Edward. Finally, when she was about to leave, Edward came in and he sat down. He said, I know I'm not getting a good grade in final examination. I know I'm a lazy, ugly, not good for anything person. Leave alone a good grade. I'm not even good enough for anybody to love me. I'm a very sad person. Audrey was shocked. She really wanted to reach out and tell him that it's not the case, that you're a really good person. But she thought of a better way to do it. She said, Edward, you get an A. And Edward was, are you silly? Are you mad? How can I get an A? I never took part in class participation. I never did my homework on time. Why are you giving me an A? And she said, Edward, you may be a D student, but you are an A person. I believe in you and I will always believe in you. I am there for you and I will always be there for you. Now go on and create a life of your dreams. And Edward, I love you. He was shocked because at that day he had come with his dark circles, eyes pale, lips a little bruised with blood pooling. Anyway, after that Audrey went home and she was troubled. Her conscience was troubled. That was she fooled? Was she turned into an emotional fool by a manipulative person? She didn't know that. But at 3 a.m. her phone rang. It was Edward's church pastor. He told him thank you for saving his life. She was shocked. What happened? And then the priest went on to explain that Edward had an older brother who was much shorter than him but was much a better achiever in academic and also good at sports. But as he always envied Edward's long frame, he always used to belittle him and used to verbally abuse him. Because of that, Edward always grew up in the shadow of his brother. He really desperately always wanted to impress his brother, but because of jealousy, he could never do that. And he always found that he was not capable of love. He was not capable of admiration, as her parents were always away and his brother also didn't like him. But that day, when Audrey gave him an A and told him he's a nice person, that someone believes in what he thought was a not good for anything person, somebody loves him, that changed his life. He went on to become a musician, he married, he had 4 lovely children and went on to become a teacher himself. Just 5 sentences changed a man's life, saved a man's life. That is the kind of power that words have. Think about it. Just tomorrow you can be a hero in somebody's life. You can save someone. Do that. Be kind to others. But to be kind to others, first you have to be kind to yourself. Consciously realize what you are telling yourself. Are you telling yourself, I am not a good person? Are you telling yourself, I am not a confident person? I am not a good student? I am not a good brother, mother, friend, anything. And whatever you are telling yourself, change it. Change it consciously. Make a conscious change in yourself. Because what you habitually say to yourself will eventually come out your lips and will ultimately guide your feet. That is how you can change your life. Change your words and you can change your world. Now, words are not just positive, negative. Words are motivating. We have great motivational speakers. They can motivate you from inside to do something which you never thought you would do. And what did they do? They just spoke to you. They just used words. They didn't do anything else. They didn't torture you. They didn't make you laugh. They didn't do anything. They just talked to you. That is the power of words. Words can motivate you to such extent that people go to war for it. Do you think everybody would want to fight for the nation if there were not words like you're serving your nation, you're a hero? What if somebody said, oh, you are not doing anything, you are just going and fighting, we don't have anybody else, so you are going? Nobody would go. You need some motivation, you need a purpose, and that purpose is led by words. In 13th century Scotland, there was a guy, Knight William Wallace. He was a very famous knight at that time because the English had taken over the Scotland, and he was the only one who was fighting against him. He was famous across the land, but only few people had actually seen him. So in the final revolution, he gathered all the Scottish men and every free man, farmer, carpenter, blacksmith, didn't matter. Everybody was there to fight, but they were not motivated enough to fight. So he said, and I quote the conversation, William said, "Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace." One of the soldiers said, "But William Wallace is 7 feet tall. You don't look like it." And William Wallace said, He's 7 feet tall. He kills people with his bare hands. He can destroy the English army just by fireballs from his eyes and lightning bolts from his ass. No, I am William Wallace. And I call upon you to fight for your freedom. You all are free men, and you will be. What will you do if not fight? And then one of the soldiers says, "Fight? We won't fight. We'll run and we'll live." And Wallace said, You may live. You will fight and you may die, or you may run and you will live. At least for some time. But after years, when you will be lying dead in your bed, think about it. Would you exchange all the days from this day to that day to get just one chance to come back and tell your enemies that they can take our lives, but they can never take our freedom? And just with that sentence, he had the whole army motivated to fight. From farmers, carpenters, blacksmiths, who not. Single one of them, everybody who was denying it, was motivated to fight. Just with one sentence, just with one vision. What do you want? A pathetic life or a glorious freedom? That is how he motivated people. That is how words motivate people. Be kind to people. And more than anything else, be kind to yourself. Be conscious of what you are telling yourself. Don't let anybody take you down. Be conscious of what you are telling yourself. Words are magic. And you can just change your world by changing your words. It's that powerful. I'd like to show you a small video.
Saying?
I wrote a saying, but in different words.
Thanks, love.
magic. Use them. Empower yourself and empower others. You have it in you, and only you.